Ethan and Ryan were the kind of cousins who shared everything: adventures, secrets, and dreams. Growing up in a quiet countryside town, their contrasting personalities only made their bond stronger. Ethan, with his magnetic charisma and adventurous spirit, was the kind of person everyone wanted to be around. Ryan, on the other hand, was the thinker, a quiet, observant boy who preferred reflection over action. Despite their differences, they complemented each other perfectly. Where Ethan led with bold ideas, Ryan kept things grounded with his cautious reasoning. Together, they were an inseparable team, bound by a deep trust and an unspoken understanding. But life has a way of unraveling even the strongest bonds. As they grew older, an unexpected mistake set them on a path that would challenge their trust and reshape their lives forever. The consequences of betrayal left scars that time and success couldn't erase, driving a wedge between the two cousins who once shared everything. Years later, a wedding invitation sets the stage for a long overdue confrontation. It's a story about forgiveness, redemption, and the enduring strength of family. Ethan and Ryan's journey reminds us that even the deepest wounds can heal if we're willing to face the past. Ethan and Ryan's childhood was a tapestry of shared moments, stitched together by the quiet charm of their countryside town. Ethan, the older of the two, was a natural leader, with a fearless energy that drew people to him like moths to a flame. His infectious laugh and endless stream of ideas made him the life of every gathering. In contrast, Ryan was thoughtful and reserved, preferring to observe from the sidelines rather than take center stage. Their differences were never a barrier to their bond. If anything, they were the perfect duo. Ethan, the architect of wild adventures, and Ryan, the steady navigator who kept him out of trouble. From exploring hidden forest trails to fishing at the serene lake, the two were rarely seen apart. Even at night, they would lie on Ethan's backyard lawn, staring at the stars and sharing their dreams about the future. The closeness of their homes made it easier to spend nearly every day together. Ryan admired Ethan's confidence, while Ethan valued Ryan's quiet wisdom. They balanced each other in ways neither of them fully understood, but instinctively appreciated. In those early years, their world felt simple and unshakable. Together, they believed their bond could weather anything life threw at them, but they were about to learn how fragile even the strongest connections could be. But for now, in their little town surrounded by nature and endless possibilities, they were more than cousins. They were partners, brothers, and best friends. As Ethan and Ryan stepped into their teenage years, their lives began to take different paths. Ethan's natural charisma made him a standout on the basketball court, where he quickly rose to become the star of his school's team. He was surrounded by admirers, his larger-than-life personality drawing people in effortlessly. Ryan, however, found his place in the academic world, excelling in debate competitions and consistently topping his class. Their differences in interests led them to different social circles, but their bond remained unshaken. They always found time for each other, whether it was a quiet chess match on a Sunday afternoon or an impromptu trip to the lake to clear their heads. Ryan often joked that Ethan's fame on the court didn't make him any better at fishing, while Ethan teased Ryan about overanalyzing every move in chess. Things took an unexpected turn when Sophie moved to their town. With her sharp wit and a love for literature, she and Ryan quickly became friends, spending hours talking about books and dreams for the future. Ethan, however, saw something more. His charm and confidence won Sophie's heart, and they started dating. At first, the trio seemed inseparable. Ryan cherished the bond he shared with Sophie through their deep conversations, but as Ethan's presence began to dominate, Ryan couldn't help but feel like an outsider in a dynamic he had helped create. But the delicate balance between friendship and romance often left Ryan feeling like an outsider in a dynamic he had helped create. Still, Ryan remained loyal, happy to see his cousin and friend so full of life. During a summer break in college, Ethan organized a trip to the coast to celebrate the end of the semester. He rented a beach house and invited a group of friends for a weekend of relaxation and fun. Ethan, always the life of the party, made sure the agenda was packed with activities, and he convinced Ryan to join them, eager to reconnect with his quieter cousin. The first few days were filled with laughter and camaraderie as the group enjoyed the sun, the waves, and late-night conversations. But on the third night, a party at the beach house became a turning point. The house was alive with music, the salty ocean breeze mingling with the aroma of grilled food and drinks. Ethan, as usual, was at the center of it all, telling jokes and making everyone laugh. Ryan noticed Ethan drinking more heavily than usual. Concerned, he kept an eye on him from a distance. His worry deepened when he saw Ethan flirting openly with a girl he'd just met. It was unsettling. This wasn't the Ethan Ryan thought he knew. Quietly, he approached his cousin. "Ethan, maybe it's time to slow down," Ryan said, trying to sound casual. "And don't forget about Sophie." Ethan shrugged him off with a drunken smile. "Relax, Ryan, she's not here, and it's just harmless fun." Ryan's stomach churned as disappointment settled in. He wanted to push further, but hesitated, fearing that Ethan's defensiveness would only deepen the rift forming between them. The next morning, regret was etched on Ethan's face. He avoided everyone, nursing a hangover and a heavy conscience. Ryan approached him again, hesitant but firm. "You need to tell Sophie the truth," Ryan said. Ethan's response was defensive and full of fear. "No one needs to know. It was a mistake. It won't happen again." Ryan insisted, but Ethan lashed out, accusing his cousin of meddling out of jealousy. Hurt and stunned, Ryan withdrew. A few weeks later, a photo from the party surfaced on social media. In the background, Ethan was clearly visible, his arm around the girl. Sophie saw it, and her heartbreak was immediate. She ended the relationship quietly but decisively. Ethan, consumed by shame and anger, lashed out at Ryan, accusing him of betrayal. The argument was explosive, leaving their bond not just broken, but seemingly irreparable. The fallout between Ethan and Ryan marked the beginning of years of silence. Hurt and angry, they went their separate ways, determined to build their own lives far from the pain of the past. Ethan moved to the city, throwing himself into his work. Armed with his natural charisma and relentless drive, he founded a media company specializing in digital branding and advertising. Over time, the company flourished, making Ethan one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the industry. His name became synonymous with innovation, and his life seemed perfect from the outside. Fame, wealth, and recognition. But behind the success was an emptiness he couldn't shake. Ryan took a different path. Focused and disciplined, he excelled in finance, eventually founding an investment firm that grew into one of the most respected in the field. Known for his strategic acumen, Ryan became a powerful figure in the business world, earning accolades and financial security. Despite his achievements, moments of quiet reflection often brought memories of childhood simplicity and the irreplaceable bond he had lost with Ethan, a void that no success could ever fill. The cousins had achieved everything they once dreamed of, yet something was missing. Memories of fishing trips, late-night stargazing, and shared laughter haunted them both in quieter moments. Neither reached out to the other, pride and fear of rejection holding them back. Years passed, and their lives continued to grow apart. Ethan and Ryan were both surrounded by colleagues, clients, and acquaintances, yet each felt an undeniable loneliness. The weight of their unresolved conflict lingered, a constant reminder of the friendship they had lost. Unbeknownst to Ethan, fate was about to intervene. An unexpected invitation would soon reopen old wounds, offering both a chance at reconciliation they never thought possible. Years after the fallout, Ethan's life was a whirlwind of meetings, conferences, and high-profitable events. Meanwhile, Ryan and Sophie's bond deepened over shared values and quiet moments of understanding. Their relationship grew slowly, built on a foundation of trust and mutual respect. One Friday evening, as Ethan sifted through a stack of mail in his sleek city apartment, an elegant envelope caught his eye. It was a wedding invitation. Curious, Ethan opened it and froze. The groom's name was Ryan, his estranged cousin, and the bride was Sophie. Ethan's mind raced. Sophie, the girl he had hurt, the one who had been the center of so much conflict, was now marrying Ryan. A flood of emotions washed over him. Regret, jealousy, and an overwhelming sense of guilt. He had wronged them both, and now they had built a life together without him. He debated whether to attend. Memories of their shared childhood and the trust they once had conflicted with his fear of facing the past. They were probably inviting me out of obligation, he thought bitterly. But another part of him, the part that missed Ryan, that wanted to make things right, pushed him to reconsider. In the days leading up to the RSVP deadline, Ethan wrestled with his emotions. Attending meant confronting not only Ryan and Sophie, but also the man he had become. He feared judgment, ridicule, or worse, indifference. In the end, Ethan made a decision, though his heart still wavered. He would go, not just for Ryan or Sophie, but to confront the shadows of his past. Yet doubt lingered. Would he be welcomed, or would his presence stir old wounds? He couldn't know, but one thing was clear. He needed to face the man he had become. He couldn't change the past, but perhaps he could face it, apologize, and seek closure. As he sent in his RSVP, Ethan felt a mix of dread and determination. The wedding was not just an event. It was a chance to confront the mistakes that had haunted him for years and, maybe, take the first step toward healing the bond he had lost. The day of the wedding arrived, and Ethan found himself standing at the gates of an elegant garden venue. The manicured lawns, delicate floral arrangements, and soft music set a serene atmosphere. But his heart was pounding as if he were about to face a trial. Adjusting his tie, Ethan took a deep breath and stepped inside. He kept a low profile, avoiding familiar faces and staying near the back rows during the ceremony. His eyes were fixed on Ryan, standing at the altar, looking confident and happy. Ethan barely recognized the man who was once his quiet, reserved cousin. Then, as the wedding march began, Sophie appeared. She looked radiant, her smile lighting up the entire venue as she walked down the aisle. Ethan couldn't help but feel a pang of regret, but it was quickly overtaken by relief. The happiness on their faces told Ethan they had found what they deserved. For a brief moment, a pang of jealousy gripped him. What if things had been different? But as he watched Ryan gently take Sophie's hand, the jealousy melted into relief. They were happy, and that was all that mattered now. During the reception, Ethan stayed on the sidelines, nursing a glass of sparkling water and watching the festivities unfold. Just as he was contemplating leaving early, Ryan approached him. "You came," Ryan said, his voice tinged with both surprise and relief. Ethan hesitated, then nodded. "I had to. There's something I need to say." Taking a deep breath, Ethan confessed, "Ryan, I was wrong. About everything. I let my ego, my mistakes, and my anger ruin something that mattered more to me than I realized. I'm sorry for what I did to you and Sophie. I hope we can start over." Ryan's expression softened. "Ethan, what happened back then hurt deeply, but it never erased the good memories we shared. Fishing at the lake, stargazing in your backyard, planning adventures no one else could understand. I've missed you, my cousin, my best friend. Let's rebuild what we lost." They hugged, a gesture that spoke more than words ever could. Later in the evening, Sophie approached Ethan. "Hi, Ethan. I'm glad you came," she said with a kind smile. "Sophie, I don't know what to say. She interrupted gently. "It's okay. The past is the past. What happened taught me a lot about what I deserve, about the kind of love I wanted, and about forgiveness. It wasn't easy, Ethan, but those lessons helped me grow, and now I can look back without pain. I'm grateful for everything, and I've forgiven you, truly." Ethan felt a weight lift from his chest. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. For the first time in years, Ethan felt lighter, as though the ghosts of his past had finally let him go. As the wedding festivities wound down, Ethan found himself standing on the edge of the garden, watching Ryan and Sophie share a quiet moment on the dance floor. They looked genuinely happy, their smiles filled with love and contentment. For the first time in years, Ethan felt at peace. He had arrived at the wedding carrying years of guilt, regret, and unresolved pain. Now, as he prepared to leave, those burdens seemed lighter. The forgiveness he received from Ryan and Sophie had been more than he expected and exactly what he needed. Driving back to the city that night, Ethan reflected on the journey that had brought him here. The mistakes he'd made, the friendships he'd lost, and the lessons he'd learned along the way had shaped him into the person he was now. He realized that facing the past wasn't just about seeking forgiveness from others. It was about finding the courage to forgive himself. The road ahead felt open, filled with the promise of reconciliation and personal growth. For the first time in years, Ethan smiled, not just out of relief, but with the genuine hope of building something new from the lessons of the past. Maybe, just maybe, happy endings weren't reserved for fairy tales. Sometimes they happened in real life too, but only if you were brave enough to confront the past, seek forgiveness, and most importantly, forgive yourself.